All right, so like the other day, I was doing my workout and uh, uh, "Live Life" from Black Knight came on my headphones. I really had a good workout then because of that, or rather, it was with me, and then "Live Life." So I got the feeling of drawing fan art of Sonic and the Black Knight. That's interesting because I've never actually beaten the game. I have it. I've had it for a while. Never ever actually beaten it. I do know about the post-credit scene though. That's what I'm drawing here. One where Sonic is just being a nerd, and like, who would have thought I was the true King Arthur? And Amy being pissed off at him. For once, I actually broke my rule of having a square canvas. Yeah, here you can see I'm having a little trouble getting their poses right. Well, if you can see that, it looks very wireframe-ish. Yeah, decided to have Sonic laying down with his leg over his knee. Amy's at a originally it was like she's supposed to be leaning into Sonic, like well, my family calls it the dinosaur neck, but you see as I'm doing the clean up sketch here, because even I was having trouble seeing that. I was like, no, that looks stupid. I'm gonna turn her. And then there's Sonic yapping along, like that, looking off into space, with his, because I did not want to draw as many hands. He's got the hand behind his head. Still had to draw three. That was the most annoying. And then as I was drawing Amy, the sketch, I will admit, did not give me a good idea of what was layering on top of what. So you can see after I do the preliminary thing of her, forgot the ear at first, of her body, and a bit of her boot. At this point, I was like, oh. I'll have her lift her boot up like she's like Sonic 1, where he gets pissed off at you and leaves the game. Or was that Sonic CD? Well, CD, that's the one where he says, "I'm out of here," which is fitting because this is Sonic and Amy. But yeah, you see I put it made the initial line art translucent and did another layer to see what I'm changing easier. Oh, excuse me. A little bit of a yawn there. I guess I'm a little out of breath there with how much I'm talking. And then yeah, I had to do this a couple times with her arms, because crossed arms are hard enough. Crossed arms on Sonic characters is even harder because their hands are like the size of their entire arm. It's cartoon hedgehogs, after all. Yeah, for reference, I was looking at the Team Sonic Racing animation. Like the section where Rouge kicks her car when it's broken down and gets pissed off, and then Omega does the same thing because he's cute, or acting cute, and then explosion. Had a little trouble with her nose there. I think this is the best time I've ever actually drawn Amy, and then or with her line art. And here we go, it's Sonic with his long nose. did the same sort of thing that it did with Amy, sort of thing. I want to make sure it was clear that his arm wasn't being cut off there, so had the elbow in there, thickening up his legs, or his leg at the moment. The shoe and the other leg at this angle is weird. I had a bit of trouble with that, as you'll see in a little bit. Just looking up reference there, that's why I stopped. And the torso. Sonic is, strangely enough, the Sonic character I've drawn the least. So that's why he kind of has a bit of a Crash Bandicoot body shape, even though I've never actually drawn Cash Banuka there. Not that big of a fan of his games, but he's, recognizable. Cash Banuka, of course, not Sonic. I'm a big fan of Sonic. Yeah. And then before I finish the line art in this Speedpaint, I should mention, I was like, the entire time I was debating whether or not I should try to mimic the Black Knight style, or just do it my usual way. Decided to experiment and actually do the Black Knight one. The other, I did not catch when I made that mistake either before or now. Good thing I caught it before I posted to online. That would have looked weird. Thing about Amy is, even when you're color picking, but especially when you're not, because you think it looks weird on a speed paint, getting the palette correctly is on her pink is really hard to do. So I found a hex palette with notes for her skin and dress and hair and hair quills. So that also really helped it. The little power bracelets and everything. I think I just realized that I did not I may have not color corrected her legs there. Let's see if I make that correction later in life. Or life. I guess it is technically later in life, but you know what I mean. Later in the speed paint. If I didn't, it could be passed off as a shading decision because of the shadow of her dress. Sonic is the same sort of thing, but mainly for his blue, or at this point just his blue, because like the red of his shoes and the white of his things that are white can be picked from Amy with a slight adjustment. The important thing is it's his own hedgehog. And you see not much is happening right now because I'm looking up reference images of the Black Knight cutscenes. Trying to do a tree, I look again in a little bit, and I realize that they actually never used brown for a tree. So I quickly correct that with layering tricks and locked pixels. Make it a good base green. Give it a highlight first. For some reason, I got distracted because what I was listening to ended. I decided to find a new one, and then the canvas texture that's on there. It's just one I pulled up. Had a little trouble with the blending thing, so I looked up like what's the best thing to do. and this is what I found. And then got a similar problem with the sepia tone. But you can see I got it, and then now I'm back to doing the background. I've mentioned before that I have tried to do no lines on the background, and when I eventually get to updating Reap, hopefully sometime in next month, you'll see that more often there. Now that shading, just sort of blocking out, like, this really does, at this moment, it really felt like making a painting on, like, actual canvas, which I have not done in a long, long time. Yeah. I'm not good at making tutorials, or I've never actually attempted, but this is sort of... with a limited color palette for each thing, how you basically do it, or how you should do some art sometimes, with blocking out the base colors and then sort of smoothing it out. A little trouble with the sky and then the backgrounds is like I didn't like. I prefer having a little bit of more texture to the background, so mountains usually will go there. I don't really like drawing trees that much. I don't like talking this much because it really drains out my throat. Oh yeah, the hardest thing about the Black Knight style is the shading, because they do have the black splotchy shading that it has. Of course, putting on the canvas and the sepia tone color really did make it look better when doing this shading. And then later when I do the mid-lights, or I don't want to call it, it's not the base coloring, which that was earlier. The mid-lights here, I kept on accidentally changing my usual opacity brush to 3 instead of my usual 30%. So I was like, why the hell is this not making any marks? I looked up, 3. And then the final thing was, of course, cleaning up the shadows every time and trying to do it on the right layer was a challenge. And then the last thing was the literal white light highlight, which I don't know. Other than hair, don't do often. I noticed there that there was like baseline color problems there near the outlines, so I had to make quick adjustments. I didn't like the final shading underneath the tree, so I started adding that in. And yeah, you see the final product. I'm gonna shut up now. Let it roll out.
So yeah, that's what happened. To think I was called in to be part of the tale of King Arthur. But I gotta tell you, it was no picnic.
Aren't you forgetting something?
What? All the action? All the excitement down to the wire? But man, would have thought I was the real King Arthur. Huh.
That's the lamest excuse ever! You just forgot about our date!